Hi there, Mark Rudder with OnSiteWP. I'm going to show you how to migrate a website from one hosting environment to another, one hosting company to another. These are WordPress websites. It's pretty easy to do. We're going to use a few plugins. So say you've decided that you want to upgrade your hosting platform to run your business on, so you're going to move from one hosting company to another, or maybe you've built a website for a client and now you need to move it live to their hosting company or their hosting platform, or you built it localhost. Or say maybe you and your girlfriend were sharing hosting and she caught you using Internet Explorer and just told you, move out. So anyway, let's move on. So we're going to go get rid of the webcam and we're going to look at our site here. I'm in the back end of it, but essentially this is what it is. There's not much to it. It's a generic site with some fake content. I use the plugin called FakerPress, and it's a real site. It's got pages and posts and things like that. I also notice it has quite a few spam comments for a site that has nothing. It seems to be pretty popular. I guess I ought to get rid of those. So let's look at the plugins that I have installed here real quick. The one I like to start with is All-in-One WP Migration. Say that 5 times real fast. Have Duplicator, and here's the FakerPress plugin. And then I also use Updraft Plus. We use this on all of our client sites to do backups, to do offsite backups. We can also use it to restore a website, which is kind of cool. So let's go to the All-in-One WP Migration tool, and we're going to export. So it gives you some options here, different locations you can export this file. So it's going to create an installable file. We're going to go create a brand new blank website, WordPress installation on our new hosting company. And then we're going to install the All-in-One WP Migration tool and then essentially upload the file, and you're done. So let's just create file. It won't take long because this is not a very big site. Now, if you have a larger site over 500 megs, I can show you how to edit the code a little bit to increase that size. You have to contact me on LinkedIn.com, Mark Rudder on LinkedIn, or send us something from our website on our contact form, something like that. So I'll send you a file on how to do that. So it's done creating the package, so to speak. The package that All-in-One WP Migration uses. It won't work on any other plugins, only this one. So I've downloaded it to my computer. Now we need to go to our new hosting platform, our new hosting environment. Yours will be similar. This is cPanel with the Paper Lantern theme on it. A few things we have to do to set up your new hosting account or platform. First of all, we need to add on the domain name. So your domain is coming from another hosting company, another environment. You have it on GoDaddy or wherever. We need to create a place for it on our hosting company. So let's say we finally bought WP Blockchain. This is not available. Don't even check. I wish it was. But anyways, in acknowledgement of the blockchain technology. So it's going to create us a new directory in the root of our hosting account, of our hosting environment. And so let's just click Add Domain, and you're thinking, well, how come this is going to work? You don't own that domain. Well, I'm going to show you how to get around this. This is no different than if you were moving from one hosting company to another and you had not migrated the domain name yet. This is a way to set up a WordPress installation, test it, see if everything's working, and then point the domain name, and that way you have no downtime when you're migrating a site. This is one way to do it. So now we need to spin us up a WordPress site. It only takes a minute to do it. Let me see if I've already done it. Nope. Okay, so just going to click Install, and we can use HTTPS for now. It's going to give us an error, and now we have to pick. This is the directory where we're going to stick it in, or the domain name technically, but it points to that directory. Now you got to make sure you take out anything else because it's going to put it in a subdirectory if you don't, and then you won't be able to find your site. Trust me. So let's just change that, and let's just copy us a password. And everything else is going to change because we're going to overwrite this blank website with our installation. So let's just click Install. Okay, here we are. Now it's done. So let's go see if we can look at our new installation. It should be blank, but it still should be WordPress. So I'm going to probably tell you that it's not going to work because, it's checking the domain name. It's looking for the hosting account. It's looking for the domain name on the domain name servers. It's looking for the IP address, and it's not actually going to work because I don't own that domain name. But say you were migrating from another site your domain name, and you don't want to move it, or you don't want to point the domain name over here until you get the site up and running, installed, and completely migrated. You'll essentially have two versions of the same site, and then you can flip your domain name from your domain registrar over here to the to your new hosting account. So we're going to close that for now. We'll be back to that in a minute. So I'm going to show you how to get around that prior to pointing your domain name. So on Windows it's pretty easy. On Mac you'll have to open Terminal. There's a couple other things that you need to do. So what we're just going to do is we're going to simply open Notepad and run it as an administrator, and then we're going to look for a file called hosts. I've already been in here, so it's in on your wherever your Windows install is, Windows, System 32, drivers, etc. This is blank because it's not a standard text file, it's a special file called hosts file. And there it is. And so you can see I've already done a few of these, and what we're going to do is we're going to change the domain name system locally to point to the IP address of our hosting account. So let's go find that. So I'm going to open up a new tab here so I can come back here. So really it's very simple. Some of them will have it on the left, otherwise you'll have to look in your server info. Shared IP address, that's the IP address of my hosting account here. So we're going to copy that, stick that over here into our hosts file, and we're going to go WP blockchain.com. Let's paste it in again and go www.wp. Now we're telling our computer and our browser if any traffic comes in to these IP addresses, these domain names, to point them to that IP address. All you have to do is save that. And I'm going to keep this file open in case we got to come back and mess with it. So right now we can just close that. So now let's see if we can get it to resolve to our new installation. And voila, I'm automatically in the back end. We're getting an error because we told it to do SSL HTTPS, but there's no SSL installed. We use Let's Encrypt on this hosting company. There's no SSL installed until the domain propagates correctly from the name registrars. So as you can see, there's really not much in this site, this installation, and just as the standard blank WordPress install. So we're going to add our all-in-one WP migration tool. So we'll just do a search for migration. We're going to install that plugin. There it is. So now let's go to import. Import it from the file. And when it's done uploading the file, it's going to give you a warning here, and it's going to say it's going to overwrite your database, your media, plugins, themes. It's going to overwrite the entire website, the installation, and all the files. Now, your username and password are stored in the database. So we need to make sure we have a username and a password because I didn't change my admin email. It'll be very difficult to reset it. So I use LastPass. So really what we have is the username for our previous site. And I'm just going to copy that password. Now I'm going to copy the password there because when I proceed, it's going to wipe out the existing username that I set when I installed it in our cPanel, and it'll have the ones from the previous site. So I'll show you how that works. So now the site is essentially installed. It's overwritten everything. That means it's overwritten your user, your username, everything like that. And so what I need to do is I need to make sure that I have a copy of the existing username, because basically now we have a cloned website. Users, everything. So I'm going to click close, and we're going to check the permalink settings, and if you watch, it should log me out. Yeah, so it's logged me out of the site, so I have no information here except when I installed it. So that user is gone, the one I used when I installed it from cPanel. So good thing I used LastPass. So I'm basically going to look for the password from the existing site, or the one that we moved, and I'm going to copy that password. And I kept the same username, so I'm going to stick that password in there because the users are now the same, and we should be able to log into the site. And now we have it. And then now it's asking us to check our permalinks. We'll add that. Post name is usually the best for the permalink structure. Let's save the changes. And let's go look at the front end of it and see what we have. And there we have it. So it's a cloned version of our site here on a different URL. And we cheated the URL by using the hosts file. And this is how you move and migrate it. Now you would have to go into your domain registrar and point a domain to your hosting company by changing the name servers. And that's how it's done.